All right. How's it going, everybody? It is the Osmo.com NHL DFS Strategy Show. We've got a big 11 gamer to talk about tonight, so we're going to get into it very quickly. Nolan Kelly, the co-host, as you guys know. What's up, Nolan? How you doing?
What's going on?
Same old, man. Big slate,
Really?
NHL. You know, People are going to be paying more attention with NBA going on All-Star break tomorrow. So I'm
Yeah.
excited. I'm excited. Hopefully some big contests on all the sites.
Fingers crossed, man. Hopefully we go back to some pre-NBA sized or some pre-October style NBA contests.
Yeah, nice couple 50K, 100K to first. That'd be. I think
I
they'll
could deal with
fill.
that.
So now's the time to run good if there ever was one. Um, People are here to help me not play 8K Yossi. I don't think you're going to be able to stop me. But we'll see once we get to the Nashville game. Uh, we are presented by Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports. As always, Yahoo's got it going on with their NBA contest. They've got soccer, PGA. I'm sure you played today. Um, they've got NHL. I'm hoping to see some big contests tomorrow over on Yahoo when you guys do join. Use promo code OSMO to get up to $30 in Yahoo Sports rewards points. That is essentially free cash to play DFS over there. When you do, you're going to see some lower management fees, just 10.7% in this $12 today, $300 the first. So it is a little bigger. We're even going to see, hopefully, some nicer contests tomorrow. So go support Yahoo. NBA projections are going to be free. It's just a two-gamer today, but if you wanted to use the NBA projections from the number one DFS player in the world, now is your chance. NHL projections, same thing. Alex and myself came up with this model, and you can use those for free as well. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. We usually recap what happened the night before, go over each game by game, talk about some of our favorite plays, things we might not agree with in terms of the ownership projections. We do have ownership projections if you are looking to join. And then we do have promo code BREAK that's going on right now, and that is to get, let's see, I don't want to misquote this, so I'm going to just pull this up. It is promo code BREAK, and the details of that are 8 days. Here, I've got it up on screen. You get 8 days of platinum all access. That includes NASCAR, PGA, EPL, MMA, and of course NHL. $15 for all access. XFL is not included in that. That's a different package, but it is promo code BREAK, and that's how you get access to all these different sports. If you are looking to join, this is a really good deal. I think you're getting about $20 off for the 8 days, which is, I think, a pretty good deal. So let's recap last night, Nolan. How did it go for you? Did you play Boston 1?
I was just a little under the weight on the field and didn't really have that right combo, so just kind of broke even. But
Yeah,
what are you gonna do?
I had a couple good combos with Boston 1, but I was way under the field on them, and so the last goal killed me. The Pasta hat trick didn't actually hurt me too bad. It was the rest of the line doing pretty well too. So I kind of
Yeah.
knew I was buried. Didn't have anything going. Lineup study doesn't have the DraftKings contest up yet, so we're gonna look at FanDuel. I don't know how to pronounce this username, but anyways, took down first, third, fourth, seventh, tied with him or herself for seventh, and then a 10th place. So profited over $6,000 in a tournament where the top prize is $5,000. Bergeron,
Nice.
Pasternak, Marchand, Backlund, Kachuk, Rasmus Anderson, Sutter, empty netter. That was huge for this person. Edler was decent enough, 23% owned over on FanDuel for $4,400, and then Markstrom in net with a 59.2 FanDuel point performance. That should do the trick, huh?
Not bad. Not
Yeah,
bad. He had 59.2 yesterday.
59.2. That
What?
that was what it was on FanDuel
Oh,
So a little bit different scoring
trying to
over there.
figure out how that would work in DraftKings, but
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was pretty much Boston 1, or you were cooked if you didn't have them, and I was more on the side of being cooked there. So if we would check out the other DraftKings tournaments if we didn't have a bunch of games to talk about today, but they're not loaded, so we can't see the nice, pretty layout that FC Pro's lineup study allows us to do. So we're just gonna move it on into the games, and we're gonna start with Columbus and Buffalo, 2.7 implied total. For the Blue Jackets, 2.7 as well for the Sabres. It's not going to be Merzlikins. It's going to be Kivlenieks going for
Another
Columbus.
Latvian?
Possibly. Carter Hutton for the Sabres. Do we have any news here?
Yeah, a couple of things for the Buffalo side of things. Victor Olofsson back in after just coming off IR. Looks like he's going to be on that Eichel Reinhart line and full power play one correlation as well. Marcus Johansson out for the Sabres. VC Lazar, Shiri, Rodriguez, Frolik, Skinner. That's not the worst line in the world. Larson, Okposo draws back in for him and Girgensons as well. So I think that's it on the Columbus side of things. There was I saw something that said David Savard wasn't going to play today, or like it was game time, but it looks like he's good to go. Not a bad price point for him, given that he's probably going to be getting a lot of minutes with Seth Jones now out.
Yeah, this is obviously not my favorite game. Huge slate, and then we've got a couple teams with low implied totals. I think the total is actually dropping. It's closer to 5 right now, I noticed. And what I like the best here is actually not the Buffalo side. It is the Columbus side. It is Columbus 1. I just believe in this line. Good price, kind of a slow-paced game. I know Buffalo does a good job of kind of keeping things, for the most part, under control when they're on home ice. But I think they're going to see a bunch of Eichel, Reinhart, and Olofsson. That's not going to be a great line at 5-on-5. And I like the CBJ 1 side on that one. I didn't notice they weren't super high in our ownership projections, which is also what I like to see either on DraftKings or FanDuel. So this is a line that I'm going to be over the field on pretty comfortably, and I'm hoping I can catch that outlier performance coming up here.
Which line was that? Sorry,
Columbus
CBJ
1.
All right.
Werenski 6,400, probably a pass for me for the most part. It's a little bit expensive. I'm paying up for some other guys. And then on the Buffalo side, I guess you can go to Dahlin or Ristolainen if you are playing Buffalo 1. But I don't have much interest in them. I mean, Columbus is one of the best teams in the NHL defensively, like pretty easily.
Although
top 5
how much of that is Merzlikins and Jones, right? So this might be one of those spots where you're missing your number one defenseman, who's a miniature, and your top goalie who's been playing out of his mind. So it's kind of maybe a reason to get back on Buffalo a little bit here, even though the implied total is pretty bad, right?
Yeah, fair. I mean, Merzlikins has been just red hot, and now not having to face him, probably a nice confidence boost for Buffalo. We'll see if that changes anything in the totals, but right now I'm seeing that they're actually dropping. So
yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, if Buffalo 1 goes off at this price with Olofsson at almost $7K, I'm kind of okay losing to this. So
it's madness.
Yeah,
madness.
Give me the Columbus side. I can't stand Buffalo.
Yeah, that's fair. I think with these guys priced up and 2.5 implied total, there's just no point in going there. So,
all right, let's go to Dallas and Toronto. 2.7 implied total for the Stars. 3.3 for the Maple Leafs. Ben Bishop and Freddie Anderson returning for the Leafs. What other news do we have here?
On the Dallas side of things, looks like Radulov and Joe Pavelski are going to be out tonight, so we got some new lines. Perry up on the top line with again and Rupe Hintz, Ben with Dickinson Grianov, Faxa Como Cogliano, the usual line there. Janmark Robertson, Kiviranta. That's a new one there. Don't know much about that guy. Toronto side, I didn't really see much. I think they're pretty much rolling out the same lines there. So Tyson Barrie, game time decision though.
I didn't even see that. Yeah, it looks like that's actually going to be the case. So good call on that one. Bunch of news. I'm sure I missed a couple things. And on the Dallas side, I guess, so they did stick with this Seguin, Hintz, and Perry line the whole game, which I didn't think they would. So at least we know that if things are going well early, like Dallas may stick with these lines. I think if it's still close, you're probably going to get them split up. But Perry only being 2,700, like he's in a good situation. I know he stinks, but I'm okay playing Dallas 1 here, and I'm not that wild about Toronto's 5-on-5 lines. Although it is a good power play spot, just in that Dallas gives up or takes a bunch of penalties, and then you've got this really awesome Toronto top power play. You've got this good top line, and they're all on the top power play. So I guess if I'm going anywhere on the Toronto side, it is Toronto 1, but they're behind a bunch of these other top lines for me. So I'm hoping that they just don't do anything. If they like in the Toronto lineups, I do have will be with off the beaten path double stacks with like 1 to 2% owned lines. Because I think they're going to be probably more popular than they actually should be when you just look at the spot and you just look at how slow paced Dallas has played this entire season.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the what's the ownership here. Too little too much for me on 11 game slate. Gotta say, people just love to play Toronto 1. It was crazy ownership for them last game out as well, and like on a shorter slate. But I'm not super excited about them here. Sagan on the other side is probably the guy I would target the most. But I don't know. Not great. Hyman off that line as well. That line together with Hyman on it had really good numbers, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
The Matthews, Marner, Hyman. So I'm sure that the Nylander line will probably be pretty good. Any line with Matthews is good too. But I'm kind of with you there. Not super excited about it.
Yeah. Klingberg at 4,100 is the guy I'm getting to. I might end up just making a group with him and kind of grouping him out of one of my top owned defensemen. He grades out okay for 4,100, but he's just a lot of empty minutes, and like he's gonna play 20 plus probably, but not really a guy I'm looking to one off all that often. He's just getting nothing on the peripheral side, and you're just relying on assists. And it's not like it's a slam dunk great spot here for Dallas anyways, where you're targeting the power play and he just isn't a good spot. So I'm gonna just mute my exposure on Klingberg. He was coming up a little bit for me, and then Tyson Barrie.
I don't know if that's true. I can't find anything on Twitter, by the way. I just saw it on Daily Faceoff. So,
I mean, maybe there's something to it. Maybe that lowers his ownership. So you could jump on the Toronto power play stack. He's gonna play the.
He's not. Yeah, he's not listed on Daily Faceoff either, though.
Okay.
Or for DraftKings, I mean. So.
Yeah, we're getting kind of an error the way we look up stuff on our lineup builder here. He's got a bunch of question marks down here, but then he's listed below normal and power play 1 for 5,600. So we'll check on that. Be in Slack afterwards. Or if anybody has anything on that, or if it's just a complete mistake, just let us know. That's really all I got in this game. Toronto power play maybe, and then Sagan, Hinson, Perry just as a deep MME flyer. It's not my favorite game by any means. And I do like Justin Holl as well. $2,700. He's a guy who's getting some peripherals. Doesn't play on the power play, but you can deal with that for that price and playing in a top 4 role, playing 20 minutes a night.
Come on, why play Justin Holl when you can play Alex Biega?
Yeah, give me Holl over him. But
damn.
Yeah. Biega used to be my guy, not so much anymore, playing for Detroit.
4 shots on goal last game, just saying.
Oh, yeah, he's going to put shots on goal probably.
He's back.
Let's go to Edmonton and Tampa. 2.4 implied total for the Oilers, 3.6 for the Lightning. Mike Smith and Andrei Vasilevsky are your goalies. Do we see anything new here?
Yeah, so Stamkos out for another one. Kucherov left last game. He's out tonight. Chiarelli, I believe, is also out tonight. And, of course, James Neal and Connor McDavid still out. So this was once a good-looking, pretty fun up-tempo affair. Kind of gross now. New lines for Tampa, point between Johnson and Palat, which should get a fair amount of ice time. And I believe you have full power play correlation as well. Sergachev up on the top power play unit with Victor Hedman. Paquette, Killorn, Maroon. Gord between Joseph and Verhaeghe. And then on the Edmonton side, I think everything stays the same. Just notice that this Edmonton line, third line, got way more ice time than the second line. So Archibald, Sheehan, Cassian is probably a better play than that other crap one, though. That's not saying much.
Yeah, I'm probably just sticking to the top line for the Oilers. I think they're okay tonight. This is obviously way tougher spot, even without Stamkos, Kucherov, and Cirelli. Like, this is a better team than the Blackhawks at home, which they were a couple nights ago. And it's not like they dominated that matchup anyways. They were pretty efficient with their chances, which is not something you can really rely on if you're just getting into NHL DFS. So, I don't know. I just want like a bunch of chances and hope it goes my way. I don't know that this is the spot where Edmonton one gets a bunch of those. I think this is maybe the spot where you see some regression in that they don't have McDavid. This is only their second game without him. He's going to be out for a number of games here. And even without those guys, I still think Tampa's going to be okay offensively and still solid defensively. So Point Palat and Johnson was one of my favorite lines tonight. I hope people just get off of them. But I think they'll become more of an optimizer play even without the big names.
It's looking like they're projected for about 10% as a unit.
Yeah. So, they're going to be up there, but I think for good reason. It's just so much value for a team with one of the highest implied totals. They're going to get a good matchup regardless of who they go up against. If they go up against Draisaitl, great. If they don't, you get to go up against Gaten Haas and Riley Sheehan, and it's really ugly on the Edmonton side. So I actually like the top 2 lines for Tampa, and then if I'm taking a shot on Edmonton, it is the probably the Draisaitl line. But if they're coming up a bunch for me, I didn't notice them in my first few crunches, but if they are coming up a bunch for me, I might limit them to like 4 or 5% because I don't think it's a very high probability spot for them, honestly.
Fair enough.
Hedman at 6,300. Did you mention that Tampa is going 11-7 tonight?
I did not.
I think they are. I don't know if that's confirmed, but that's what some of the beats speculated. So I would be like in on Hedman, and I haven't been playing him much this entire season, but his last few games he's played, I think a minimum of 26.8 minutes or something, 26.75 minutes. So 26 and 45, whatever you want to call it. Almost 27 minutes a game for his last 4 or 5 games. Like, he's just racking them up. It is a good spot, I think, for the Tampa power play, even without those guys. I still think they're going to be okay. They're not going to have the same efficiency, but Edmonton's still terrible. And if you could guarantee Hedman was going to play 27, 28 minutes or something like that, I would be all over him for 6,300. But I'm probably going to end up limiting him because I'm worried that he ends up at like 22 minutes, 21 minutes, and they kind of spread it around here.
Yeah, fair enough. I kind of like I think Hedman's minutes are kind of giving him a little bit of safety here. So projects our highest totaled defenseman on this slate tonight, and Sergachev, not too shabby power play 1 duties. Think you can go there. Chernak as well. Like, there's just like our projections are just loving. Yours and Alex's projections are just loving this a lot of this Tampa action tonight. So
yeah, and, projections are one thing, but sometimes there's more nuance in like line matching and stuff. I still think this is pretty good chalk for an 11 game slate if it's only going to be low double digits.
So cheap.
Yeah. But I was kind of hoping we'd get him at like 5% because everyone would just be like, no Stamkos, no Kucherov. Maybe some of the casual people just get off of them entirely because of the lack of name value. But it looks like people these days rely more on projections, and they're obviously one of the best stacks for a pretty low price.
What about, did you say anything about Tampa 2 there? You got any interest?
So I think that's a really, potentially a really good defensive line. I'm not sure if they've got much of a sample together, but Paquette with Maroon and Killorn getting, this was a line we were playing as a third line, now probably going to get, 15 minutes each, which is not bad for a second line, and might see some time in the shutdown role against Draisaitl, Nugent-Hopkins, Yamamoto. That also looks like a pretty good spot and a nice pivot for very, very cheap.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm just looking up their numbers right now. It's Paquette, Maroon, Gord. Let's take a quick look.
No, Paquette, Maroon, and
Killorn. Sorry.
Let's see.
Yeah.
They're good defensively. They're not very good offensively, but they are against Edmonton. So they've got that going for them.
Yeah, exactly. We've got why I can't find this. Not so great offensively. Only 106 minutes, but about 5 high danger chances for and 17 scoring chances for per 60. So not super great there,
but what it does do, that's worrisome if they're going to go up against Draisaitl in terms of playing Draisaitl and Nugent-Hopkins.
Right.
And Yamamoto.
That's true.
So
yeah, I wasn't. Good call the other night, by the way. That was the nuts line.
Yeah, I got there late with the empty netter. And then Mike Smith somehow pulled 20 saves in the third period and got the bonus. Everything came together for me late.
Nice.
But yeah, Edmonton one was the nuts the other night. I'm not so sure that's going to be the case tonight. Philly and Florida, 3.1 implied total for the Flyers, 3.4 for the Panthers. Carter Hart, Sergei Bobrovsky. Do we see anything new here?
I don't think so. Did you see anything?
I think we saw Hoffman with Trocheck and Connolly prior to the start of last game. I think they did that in pregame skate. Achari moved down to the fourth line, or maybe it was Sevier actually. But anyways, kind of in a revolving door these last few games. Hoffman looks
How
like
about these two defensemen on the fourth line? Just like the greatest fourth line in history, or what?
Yeah, I guess so. Matheson and Pissick. It's weird because Matheson was like, they usually do the seventh defenseman thing with like a bottom, like two defensemen, and that's Pissick, right? But Matheson was playing top pairing with Ekblad for a bunch of the season, and now they're turning him into a forward. I don't know. I guess a couple years ago we saw Brent Burns play forward for a couple games, so
Yeah, he's now listed as a forward, which is too bad. You couldn't go for the double stack pairing of Matheson and Pissick.
Yeah.
Not that would be a good move. But.
No, yeah, out on that. But do you like anything in this game?
I don't know. I wasn't really getting to much, to be honest with you. And like the totals, I guess Philly's total is pretty decent. So, talk me on to some Philly lines here.
I wish I could. Just from a projection standpoint, if you're using the projections on the site, you're probably not going to get a ton of this game, and that's going to worry some people. I could see getting to either top line. I don't know that I'm a big believer in either of the second lines, but it's just like there's good pricing. Based on the totals here, like a 3.1 road total is pretty high. 3.4 home total is good. And then like it's not like there's a lack of options. Barkov, Huberdeau, and Dadonov have had a bunch of big performances. That's probably the line I would go to if I could just choose one in this game. But the worry is that they're going to see a lot of Couturier, Giroux, Voracek. And that's just a worry because we know Couturier is one of the best two-way centers. But if you look at the line as a whole with Giroux and Voracek and Couturier centering them, they actually haven't been that great over the last season and a half since the start of last season. So I'm somewhat of a believer in the Barkov line. I just don't know if those numbers are kind of lying to us there.
That's fair.
Anything else we need to mention here? I mean, the Hayes line, like Hayes, Farabee, Konechny, I just think that they're gonna have issues in their own end, and so maybe just the Florida side for me here. I don't really know what I want to do with this game because even saying I'm kind of a believer in Florida one here, I'm still not getting to a ton of them. Like it's very, very limited.
Yeah, and like they don't really grade out all that well for us, so I don't know. Like I guess I'm just looking at the ownership here, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Pricing's not that bad on Dadonov.
Yeah, Dadonov's cheap, and he's usually the guy that people leave off the most. So
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, this game is just confusing to me. When I've got a 6.5 total game and two offenses that I like playing Florida a lot. I like playing Philadelphia a lot, but the problem is, and maybe this is why they're not grading out as like elite plays, is that Philadelphia's kind of middle of the road in time shorthanded. They've at the beginning of the season they were taking like no penalties. This like the full season they're closer to the middle, and then you look at where Florida's at. They are taking they have the fifth fewest time shorthanded this season. So maybe lack of power play opportunities is kind of keeping them under control in the projections. If you do get a spot where one of these teams gets slap happy and takes 4 or 5 penalties, then you could be looking at an absolutely massive game. I don't know. So I guess that's what you would be looking at, and I think Florida 1 has the best chance of that. But I don't even know if things are going to go that great if Florida 1 goes off tonight for me.
Yeah, fair enough. I totally missed that. I misread that. 3.4 total. That's not bad. Fourth highest on the slate. Decent ownership. I don't see why you wouldn't want to match or double the field 5 to 10%.
Fair enough. Yeah, especially if you're talking about MME. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Anything else here? Like,
nah, it's not very exciting. I get it. I don't know. I don't feel like outside of Florida 1, I'm too interested in these lines, but
there's just few defensemen to love here. Ekblad's priced kind of correctly at $5K, and then you've got Sanheim, Philippe Myers, Niskanen, Provorov. No one really above the other one for me there. And then you've got Yandel at 4,400, but Philadelphia, it's not like they take a ton of penalties. So Yeah, this is
and
a
they're
weird one.
top 10 in the killed, top 10 in penalty kill too. So
This is one where like if I'm scrambling at lock, I might just end up with like very few Florida 1 shares. If we get a bunch of line changes and I don't have ample time to adjust my stuff, I might just end up with few Florida 1 and be kicking myself later. But I'm gonna try to end up with at least to where the field's at. I think I could get to that, 5-6%.
I like it.
Let's go to Detroit and New Jersey. 2.5 implied total for the Red Wings, 3.1 for the Devils. Bernier and Mackenzie Blackwood are your goalies. Anything new?
On the Devils side, all looks the same. On the Detroit Red Wings side, Robbie Fabry comes back. He's skating on a line with Franz Nielsen and Filppula. And Devils have the second highest implied total in the slate tonight. What's happening here? What am I missing?
So our totals have them at 3.1, but yeah, I did notice other places
they've gone up to 3.5.
Yeah, so I think the total has gone from 5.5 to 6, and so that's why you might be seeing the higher total elsewhere. But yeah, I like the Devils. Hard not to like anyone against the Red Wings, especially a relatively cheap team. You got a couple lines to choose from. You could probably make a case for the third line just because it's against Detroit. But like Zaka, Wood, and Simmons, that has a potential to be an absolute train wreck. So against deeper teams, maybe you wouldn't consider them. Here, I suppose you could if you're trying to play another Colorado power play stack or Washington or someone really expensive like that. Zajac Line's going to see the most time against Larkin, Mantha, and Helm. I'm not sure that that's a great matchup for either side. And so I really, really love the Hughes, Palmieri, and Jesper Bratt line. I know Bratt, not the most exciting player to play, but you get Hughes and Palmieri on the top power play. You could leave Jesper Bratt off and put in Coleman if you wanted to, or Simmons for even cheaper, and kind of power play one, stack this up with Severson, who's been better lately. I think there's a bunch of options on the Devils, but my favorite one is easily the Hughes, Palmieri, and Bratt line going up against Athanasiou and the Filppula lines, which are garbage defensively.
All right, I will go with you on that one for sure. Like I think the only advantage here, if you think the Zajac line is going to get that Larkin line, I guess you probably maybe want to go to the Zaka. Both of those lines are under 2% owned as a whole, so probably not bad spots to go if you're looking for filler stacks tonight.
Yeah, and you get power play time, secondary power play time with the third unit as well, plus Simmons on the top unit. So yeah, bunch of options on New Jersey. They're just really cheap. They're kind of the obvious stack. I'm probably going to be under on where we have the Zajac line. I think we have them. Actually, we have them pretty low, so maybe I'm not going to be under, but I don't think I get to a lot of the Zajac line. I think I do get to a ton of the Hughes Palmieri stack. And then if I'm going anywhere on Detroit, it's just Detroit 1 or Detroit power play 1, and hope they can get hot there, or Bertuzzi gets back up on the top line, but they're really expensive, and it's not a great 5-on-5 spot against that Zajac line.
Yeah, fair.
Severson's really the only guy I like defensively here. If you wanted to go to a Will Butcher, he's been better. He's kind of been relying on assists, so he's not doing like zero like what he's been doing the last couple of years. He's a guy that's popped into a couple of my lineups lately, but just kind of a low upside player, to be honest. 3,200. You might even be able to do better than that. Plus the minutes have been jumping around for him, which is kind of a problem even at that price. Maybe Andy Green, your boy, for 3,800.
My boy, God, that's terrible. Yeah, no thanks. I'm good.
All right, let's go to Arizona and Ottawa. We got a 3.1 implied total for the Coyotes, 2.8 for the Oilers. Ranta and Hogberg are your goalies. Do we see any line changes?
Yeah, Ottawa shuffling up their bottom 9 a little bit. I won't go into it, but it looks like a lot of these, kind of lately, Ottawa's been shuffling quite a bit, and especially in game. None of these lines, but beyond the top line, had more than 10% 5-on-5 share together last game. And then one thing I noticed actually on the Arizona side, Daily Faceoff still has Oosterley listed on the top power play unit, but Ekman Larson had a like 60% share with the top unit last game. So probably he's back up on there, and that probably means Oosterley is not playable anymore.
Yeah, that is a good point. Top lines are going to go up against each other here. Pageau, Tkachuk, Brown almost always go up against opposing top competition. It's one of the hardest matches we see all over the NHL. They oftentimes get 10-plus minutes against opposing top lines. And so with Hall, Dvorak, Garland being, I think, the clear top line, that makes it a little bit tougher than maybe the implied total implies. Pageau, Tkachuk, and Brown, they're not like an elite line, but they are a pretty tough matchup, and the only tough matchup on the Senators. So, they do a decent job of limiting top lines here, and I love the Dvorak Hall Garland line, and it was just going to depend on what we have for ownership for them. So, I guess if we project them at lock to have 3 or 4% ownership, then yeah, I'm probably in. If it was going to be closer to like 10, then I'm probably out on a slate of this size. So it looks like they're actually not that bad right now. We've got Dvorak and Garland at pretty low ownership. So I think as the full stack, and that's how I prefer to stack them up, just Arizona 1. That's probably okay ownership for what I think is a little bit tougher matchup than what others might think. And then
go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say I like that call. Yeah, I like Arizona 1 tonight a lot. They're getting a ton of ice time together, and clearly we've seen them shift. The other line that also seems to be might fly under the radar is the Stepan Kessel Kraus line tonight. I don't know what the matchup will be. Have you noticed if Ottawa is matching like top line against top line, or
it's just top line against top line, and then the rest of Ottawa is absolute trash.
I kind of like Stepan Kessel Kraus as like a 1% owned filler stack.
I like the Schmaltz line better, but I do appreciate where your head's at. Depth, like any depth against Ottawa, especially when Ottawa's at home and that just top lines are gonna go up against each other. Stepan gets to go up against Nismov, Duclair, Paul, Tierney, Meskov, Batherson. Those lines are awful defensively. So yeah, either of the Arizona 2 or Arizona 3, they see pretty equal time. I kind of like Hinostroza, Schmaltz, and Keller a little bit better, but same sort of price range, and both going to get really, really good matchups. So yeah, I kind of agree with your overall point there. And then good call on Ekman Larson. Didn't notice that he was on the top power play, 4,700 for him. If he wasn't on the top power play, I probably wouldn't play much of him. But making that manual change, I will get to a little bit of him. And then on the Ottawa side, it's probably just some Mike Riley shares. On the few Ottawa 1 lineups that I get to, Ottawa 1's not a real staple of my lineups tonight. It is a tough spot for Dvorak, Hall, Garland, but it also is a pretty tough spot for Pageau, Tkachuk, and Brown in that shutdown role.
Agreed.
All right, let's go to the Islanders and the Predators. 2.7 implied total for the Isles, 3.2 for the Preds. Thomas Greiss and Pekka Rinne are your goalies. Do we see any changes here?
Nothing from the Islanders side of things. Nashville, though, in practice yesterday, didn't skate today, but did have some new lines yesterday. So it's Johansson between Arvidsson, Granlund, Duchesne, Turris, Forsberg, and then that Grimaldi, Bonino, Smith line, which has the 4th best expected goals for in the entire NHL per 60 with a minimum 150 minutes. It's just nuts. Sticks together. That's all I got.
Yeah, I mean, I think Nashville 3, they're just kind of a target whenever they're at home for me, and they get the benefit of last change. They're going to get good spots. I kind of like, I like that Arvidsson is not on the third line anymore. He's with real, I guess I shouldn't say real players because the third line's been good, but he's with Johansson and Granlund. I would like if they just went back to Forsberg, Johansson, and Arvidsson. They've seen that line work for a number of years, and they've kind of abandoned it lately. Now you get Turris between Duchesne and Forsberg. It's cheap enough where I'm fine with it. I don't know what the matchups are going to be, if anything. If I had to guess, it's probably the Johansson line seeing the most time against Barzal, but I prefer the Barzal line in that matchup. Just an elite, or maybe not an elite line. They are an upper tier line though, and they're kind of priced up. Like it's 16K. It's not free. It is a pretty low total. So I think people will just be off the Barzal line entirely. But if they can, get some help on the power play here, they're all in the top unit. Nashville, one of the worst kills in the entire NHL. They are still at, actually they're last in the NHL at this point, 73.7% kill. They take an average amount of penalties. So yeah, give me some Isles 1. Nothing really else on the Islander side. And then I have some interest in the Turris line. I just hate that it's Turris as the center between Forsberg and Duchesne here.
It's pretty gross. Yeah. I like that Islanders call as well. Yeah, that Nashville power play or penalty kill, I just can't figure that out. And of course, Islanders won. You've been touting them for a little bit here. They've had some pretty good underlying numbers, so sign me up for that one. Also, no ownership tonight. I think there's still that perception that Nashville is a good defensive team or something, and they've just been not very good this year compared to previous years. So, and then are you going to be stacking up against this Nashville PK at all? You got a Devin Tays, is he still up top on that?
Yeah, he's listed on the top power play. I mean, he would just be a throw-in for me. It wouldn't be like I'm playing 20% Tays one-offs or anything. It's more of if you're doing 4-man stacks and you get a couple Islanders 1 shares, he would be the obvious throw-in because he's the only defenseman.
As well, like these power plays have a pretty even split for the Islanders, so it's kind of tough to just kind of stick with one and thinking that they're going to get like a 90% share or something. It's not the Capitals here.
What about Yossi for 8K?
I wasn't getting to any, but I mean it's Yossi, so
yeah,
probably stuff some in.
Yeah, I'm going to get to a bunch of Yossi. Probably pretty good chance he's my highest owned defenseman. It's expensive, I get it. It's not like the nut matchup, but the Islanders do give up a lot of shots, and it is still an over 3 implied total. People are talking about the game logs. He's been just fine. Like he hasn't had a huge game lately, but he's putting shots on goal. He's putting he's getting block shots. Like he's the best. And 8K, I'm actually still finding a way to fit him in.
I'll just take Hedman for 2Gs cheaper. Same exact output.
So I would have more Hedman than Yossi if I knew that Tampa was running 12-6, and I guess we will know right at lock. Like maybe they're not running 11-7. Then I would probably have more Hedman. But
you gotta think though that like one of these guys is just going to be like taking a regular shift in the fourth line. No,
who's that for Tampa?
Like one of these Tampa defense.
Yeah, it was Gantz or Gauntz. I don't know.
Cameron Gauntz.
Yeah.
Oh, Cameron Gauntz is a forward.
Yeah,
former Canuck. Yeah, he's a forward. So
is he really?
Unless they switched him to D this year.
I mean, if he's just gonna play, okay, we'll talk about this after the show. Yeah, that's definitely something.
Maybe I'm thinking of Brendan Gaunce. Never mind.
Okay.
Sorry, getting my crappy.
No, you're good. You need to be thorough here. So, yeah, I mean it's a toss up. Like it's $1,700. So if you think Hedman's gonna play 25 minutes and Yossi's gonna play 27, it's probably not that. Like it's not ridiculous to play more Hedman than Yossi. But I'm still finding it okay to play Yossi and play good stacks and not even necessarily have to punt my defenseman. I kind of live in this mid-tier range for stacks, anyways. Especially now that you've got McKinnon with the cheaper line mates. There's ways to do it pretty easily, actually. Let's go to the Rangers and the Wild. 2.7 implied total for the Rangers, 3.4 for the Wild. Georgiev and Stalock are your goalies. Red hot Minnesota Wild top line. What are we doing here?
Man, oh man, this has got to be. I was curious to see what the ownership is here because this is a pretty good spot. Although Winnipeg didn't deliver last time out against the Rangers, so maybe these improved Rangers.
I think you were onto something there,
or something. Yeah,
I think you were onto something.
Yeah, maybe this is. It just depends on like what the ownership is going to be at here, but 16% for Minnesota 15%, somewhere in that range. That's like I think I'll probably come in a little bit underweight on that, but I certainly see the appeal of the play tonight.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing people in chat troll me. Please use Yossi in the qualifier. I dare you. I will be using Yossi.
Oh, is it qualifier tonight?
Well, yeah, but it's a $15. So I think it's like 40 entry max or 45 entry max. So yeah, I'll have a ton of Yossi in there. Don't you worry. Also, you can look up my exposures to see how much Yossi I play every slate anyways. So, yeah, Minnesota, really popular. I mean, Fiala's been an absolute madman lately. He just looks amazing. And he's scoring, like, he's getting the results. He's taking the attempts, creating the scoring chances, all that stuff. So I'm fine with Minnesota 1. I don't think I get to where the field's at on them. Like, we don't have them projected as quite that elite of a play. They are a good play, of course. And they're cheap, and it's a high total. The matchup against Zibanejad, Kreider, Buchnevich is not they're probably not going to see too much of that line. I think the Eriksson, Foligno, Greenway will kind of split time against the Strome and Zibanejad lines, and then Stahl will get whatever's left after that. So it's not like it's the greatest 5-on-5 matchup in the world just by forwards, but the Rangers are still pretty bad defensively. And people are saying Minnesota one night. It might be. Fiala looks insane right now. Stahl and Parise. It seems like it sets up to be a pretty good spot, but they are pretty aggressive chalk for an 11-game slate for not a really high-scoring team. So I don't know. I'm probably going to end up underweight on them if the slate started right now.
So many narratives.
Yeah, if the slate started right now, I would be, about half the field. So I'd still have chances if they went off, and I'm comfortable with that. But I don't think I'm getting to like 15-20%, where it's like that'd probably be my highest owned line in the slate. I don't think that's going to be the case.
Yeah, fair. And just like avoid, as I always say, just like avoid, if you're in large GPPs, avoid pairing them with like other chalky lines like Colorado 1. I don't know if you can fit them, but Toronto 1 probably, and then like Tampa 1, I would say maybe.
Seth says, don't bury the lead. It's Dumba night. What do you think about that?
Is it Dumba night?
It might be. 4,600. He's playing better.
Didn't he have an assist last game?
Yeah, he's starting to get the
one assist, 0 shots, 0 block shots last game. So 17 minutes. Wow.
Yeah, Seth's favorite player. You just want that power play assist and then nothing else. 5 points. That is just music to Seth's ears. Man, to be honest, like I think you can play Dumba. Obviously, 4,600. Spurgeon, Suter, these guys all in the same range. Brodin, like it's just kind of whatever. But I just think Dumba is the best offensive defenseman, and he's 4,600. He's 800 less than Suter. I guess the only problem is that Dumba goes better with the second line than the top line if these power plays are actually going to stick. Anything on the Rangers side?
I wasn't really getting to thinking about the Rangers too much. I mean, Minnesota pretty solid defensively, especially at home. So I don't think I'm going to have any tonight. And I'm guessing that I haven't even looked at them, but I'm guessing they're probably still pretty priced up on account of the fact that they've been very hot lately. So for me, that's going to be fade territory, but I guess you can probably get either one of those Rangers 1-2 lines at sub 1% ownership.
Yeah, they, I'm all for being contrarian, but I'd like a contrarian Rangers, 2% on stack when they were 16K or something like that. But if you want to power play stack them here, and it's not like Minnesota takes a bunch of penalties. Minnesota's good at 5-on-5. They've got this new shutdown line that they like. So one of those lines is going to get them. And that's not a matchup I'm really seeking out on an 11-game slate. So pricing matchup, it's pretty brutal to try to play a bunch of Rangers here. So I'm kind of out on them. That's really it here. Stay locked, decent value. We don't talk about goalies that much. Maybe we can talk about a few at the end that we like. Do you like Stay locked 7,400?
That seems like a pretty good option, actually. Yeah, I'm sure he projects as one of our better. He's top 5 in our value plays. It's going to be him and probably Blackwood as the top value plays today. So,
yep,
I got no problem with that.
I think I listed Staylock, or I can't remember. Maybe it was Dubnik in the cheat sheets. Probably going to see a decent amount of volume. It's going to be low danger more often than not, and a pretty big home favorite. So, yeah. If everybody could hit the like button, I see a bunch of you are here, probably ready for the next 7 or so days of NHL only and PGA and all that other stuff. We do have a package on the site, promo code BREAK, that gets you access to basically everything not NBA and non-XFL for the next 8 days. And it's only $15. Promo code BREAK is how you do that. I see, again, a bunch of you hit the like button. Thank you for doing that. That helps us out in a number of ways. So if you could, while you pop in here, before you leave, that would be great. Capitals, Avs, 3.2 implied total for the Caps, 3.3 for the Avs. Braden Holtby and Philip Grubauer are your goalies. Do we see anything new?
Yeah. So Slim Cliff, he tweeted out in the live blog today, or shared in the live blog today, that Burakovsky was up on the top power play unit in place of Donskoy. So that's good news for stacking this line, which, I mean, I think we're all probably going to like a little bit tonight, even though it's pricey. And then, of course, on the Washington side of things, it looks like Lars Eller will continue his role as the second line center between Oshie and Verana. Maybe that line might actually not be worth looking at, but I'm getting to a ton of Washington 1 here. What you saying?
Yeah, I like Washington 1. You know how I feel about Washington 2. I can't stand these guys.
Yeah, but what if Kuznetsov is like draining the reason for that line having terrible numbers, and Lars Eller is just a beast?
I mean, it's I suppose it's possible, but
Lars Eller always seems to step up when he has bigger ice time. That's just me, but
that's fair. That's fair. It feels like he is like a big time player when the stakes are high. I don't know. Maybe this is playoff atmosphere, but I'm all over McKinnon, Burakovsky, and Rantanen. But so is everyone, and I guess we don't have a big sample on this new Washington 2, but I still don't think they're going to be great defensively with Verana and Oshie there. So
That's okay. The thing, though, are we a little bit worried about that? Because I feel like Kuznetsov was also one of the weakest defenders in the league, or one of the weakest defensive centers in the league last time I looked up his numbers. So maybe that's like an improvement, and maybe they slow down the pace of the game a little bit.
I mean, maybe that's very fair. They could. I don't know who McKinnon's going to see the most of. I don't think it's that big of a deal either way. Like, he's just that good. And if you're going to get full correlation on Burakovsky, McKinnon, and Rantanen, 3.3 total. I hope they go up against Backstrom, Ovi, and Wilson if you're correct, especially about the second line. Cap's not a team that I think you need to avoid playing against, and that's especially because of the amount of times they take penalties. I think they were number 1 in time shorthanded prior to this game. Yeah, they're number 2 in time shorthanded, only behind Carolina. They have a good power play, penalty kill, but Colorado does have a good power play. They've got McKinnon. You can stack Colorado 1, Colorado 2, Colorado power play. That is my preferred way to attack this game. I really, really prefer the Colorado side.
All right.
Cale Makar,
good to know.
5,500. Yeah. Booms buddy. Ryan Graves, 5,100. I can't. I mean, Ryan Graves just gets an assist every time he touches the puck, I guess. And people. So what's the appeal with Graves? Do you know? I
don't know. Like, I thought the appeal started when Makar was out and he was just getting big minutes and it was underpriced. Now it just seems like he's way overpriced. I don't know. I don't really get it. But
I mean, I'm noticing people playing him though, and it's. I know he had a red hot stretch.
He's like a cult following or something.
Yeah, he's always like 5% owned at 4K, and he's playing 20 minutes, but it's not like he's attempting a lot of shots. He did have a game with 10 blocks. Maybe that's what people are wild about. Maybe I'm the fish here.
I think, but maybe he's just like a good hockey player. Like, sure. I think he's plus 40 or something ridiculous on the season. Wow. Like, he just has like crazy good numbers. Let me check that up and make sure I'm not lying there.
Chasing that 10 block game, yeah, good offensive defenseman. Okay, I mean, I don't know. I first to admit, I don't know a ton about like upcoming prospects.
Yeah, number 1 in the NHL. He has 10 more plus minus than the next closest person. So, like a lot of old school hockey guys love to tout that number and talk about it. So, not sure if it's like something that translates to DFS, but he probably just gets a little bit of buzz.
Okay, I'm pretty stubborn on Graves. 5,100 for him. I'll take Cale Makar for 5,500 playing top power play. Maybe he's cheaper on FanDuel, so people, that play FanDuel just go over and lock him in on DK too. I think I am playing some FanDuel tonight as well, but we'll see about that. Anything else left in this game? Carlson, 7,500. I mean, where does Washington 1 rank for you? I know they project pretty well for us.
Yeah, I'm just trusting the projections here. I think they're. I don't know what my exposure is going to be yet, but they're going to be one of my top probably 3 exposed lines tonight.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's good ownership for the line as a whole if you want to include Wilson in there.
I was just looking today, like Colorado's has some pretty poor defensive lines up top at Maybe I'm making that up. I thought they had like some, it's going to be probably a pretty high event game, I guess is what I'm.
Yeah, I mean the total would say that. Like there's stars all over the place here. It's, you've got good defensemen, good puck moving defensemen. Like, yeah, I think like I prefer this game a ton more than the Florida game. So this game will probably be, 3-1, couple Matt Nieto goals type of thing, and
Washington has over 50 minutes. Washington has 4 of the worst 20 lines in expected goals against.
Dude,
so
they're terrible.
It's nuts. And this is one of the other lines. So man, just fire away on that Colorado.
Yeah, man, I love the Colorado side. Let's go to St. Louis and Vegas. 2.8 implied total for the Blues, 3.1 for the Golden Knights. Binnington, Subban, not Fleury, going for the Golden Knights. Looks like the Blues are pretty normal, but talk about these new Vegas lines.
Well, new Blues lines too. I think Alex Steen is up. Maybe not new lines, but Alex Steen and Sammy Blais have switched spots. So Alex Steen up on that top Shen Schwartz line, kind of like that line a little bit more. And then on the Vegas side of things, we have totally new lines. The Chandler Stevenson line, which was actually I think the number 1 line in hockey while he was there, is gone. But not a huge downgrade to William Karlsson between Stone and Pacioretty. Stastny, Smith, and Marchessault, I believe they had last time. And Eakin, Stevenson moves to the third line. Eakin and Took on the third line as well. So talk to me. Yeah, what are we doing with Vegas here?
I'm kind of upset about Vegas here because I want to be one of the first ones on this Karlsson, Pacioretty, Stone line. I think they're going to be electric. If Chandler Stevenson can do it and Stastny can do it, a guy who can actually score goals in Will Karlsson, that could be pretty insane. But it is kind of a terrible spot, as bad as you can get at home. Even if you go up against this third line, that's a pretty good third line. Blues have been one of the best defensive teams. You look at the numbers for the O'Reilly-Perron duo, even with Sanford, that trio, they've been awesome defensively. I mean, they just don't allow anything. And then you look at the Shen line too, Shen-Schwartz combo. They've been pretty good as well defensively, just over 2 expected goals against per 60. That's well above average depending on which way you're looking at it. They're just tough defensively. So I guess the question is, how actually good do you think this Karlsson, Pacioretty, Stone line is going to be? Because they're going to project pretty well for that price, 18.5 on DraftKings. I think I'm going to end up overweight on them. And they're not chalk, but they're one of the chalkier fillers. And so I'm a little bit worried about that, but I just think they're that good of a line that maybe some people get off of them, see the pretty low total, 3.1 implied, or go to the Stastny, Marchessault, Smith line for cheaper. If I am going to, if I could just pick one Vegas line, it would easily be the Pacioretty, Stone, Karlsson line. So there's that, but it is a pricing difference, of course.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to get excited about going up against the Blues, but I wonder how they match here. I'm guessing going up against the Shen Schwartz lines is going to be a hell of a lot easier.
Seth says an actual helpful comment. Well, maybe helpful.
Come on now.
Yeah. He says, Jake, St. Louis has allowed 3 goals plus in their last 5 road games.
That's not helpful at all.
Yeah, I don't know where the troll is, but maybe it's 3 total goals, or he's trying to mislead us or something. But if that's true, I mean, there you go. There's your reason to play Vegas here. I prefer Vegas over St. Louis. I don't think I'm going to get to many blue stacks. If I was going to go to some blues, it would probably be the Shen line. And,
Comment on Vegas 1 here?
Vegas 1?
Yeah, they're cheap.
They are cheap, but I think that's going to get people on them. I think the second line is so much better. So much better. Pacioretty and Stone together. Give me Wild Bill over Stastny all day for DFS at least.
What about your boy, Shea Theodore?
Yeah, he's good. I mean, Shea Theodore's awesome, but
$5,700.
Yeah, he's getting up there. It's not a fantastic matchup, and he does correlate okay to the line that I like. So I'm thinking more in the 10 to 15% range for me for Theodore, which is pretty low. He's a guy I play all the time. Nate Schmidt, if you're going to really either of the top 2 lines, an okay guy as well for 4,300. Going to play a lot of minutes, blocks the shots. he does occasionally have these huge games where he can get rolling offensively. And so a couple options, I think, on Vegas. But, yeah, I would prefer Theodore if I can get up to him. Good there?
I'm good.
All right, let's go to Calgary and Anaheim. Again, if you guys could hit the like button, 220 or so of you watching this, thank you for tuning in. We will be doing this. It'll be Emac and I tomorrow doing the show at, did we say 5:30 Eastern time? Is that right?
Yeah, I believe that's correct. Yeah,
Okay.
so an hour and a half before lock.
Yes, we'll be going from 5:30 to 6:30. 6:30, we'll be in Slack, sharing any line change information or anything we see in pregame skate. So make sure to tune into that one tomorrow. Emac and I should be an interesting show. Emac is a
Emac's a
sneaky
hockey
good
expert.
So Emac does not do NHL shows. Larry asked in chat. He does not, but he is a sneaky good lower stakes NHL player. So don't let him fool you.
He follows it.
Yeah, don't let Emac fool you. The dad jokes do not fool me. I don't want to be in contest with Emac. He'll take my money in the lower stakes stuff. Let's go to the Flames and the Ducks. 2.9 implied total for the Flames, 2.6 for the Ducks. Cam Talbot and possibly John Gibson going for the Ducks. Do we see anything new here?
No, I didn't see anything at all.
Wonderful.
Did you?
No, I don't. Calgary played last night. Backlund line was pretty good. Backlund's been better offensively. He hasn't been great defensively, as Slim Cliffy pointed out, I think, on Monday's show. But playing with Tkachuk, playing with Mangiapane, I think he's going to be okay. That's kind of the line I want to go back to. I'm just not a big believer in the Monahan, Gaudreau, Lindholm line. They've been lackluster basically the entire season, and people continue to play them. I hope people play them here. The few Calgary lineups I do have will probably be mostly the Backlund line. And then on the Duck side, is there anything we can get excited about here?
No, maybe I would probably just say like Ducks 1 would be the only one I would go to, which I think is fine. They're getting they didn't get much ice time, but I don't know if left wing lock is broken or what, but it's saying that they just had a ton of correlated ice time, though it just looked like it was wrong or something like that when I looked it up. So I kind of like the top Ducks line here. I don't know. I just can't get excited about anything really in this game though.
Yeah, hard to get really excited, but I guess the one thing I'm a little bit excited about is just Backlund cheap and playing with Tkachuk. Maybe
they're fifth or sixth worst that line together in expected goals against per 60. So maybe Anaheim's in a sneaky spot here, and both Flames top lines are bottom 10 in the NHL in minimum 100 minutes or something like that. So
yeah, the defensemen are pretty gross here. People like the Rasmus Anderson. I prefer Hannafin if I could get to just one of them. And then I don't even know about anything on the Duck side. I'm going to look through my crunch here and see if anything popped up. But, yeah, there's just better options. With these low total games, I'm looking for a reason to play something here. And actually, the line I'm getting to the most is the Henrique Ritchie and Troy Terry line. That has, I think they still have really, really good numbers. Maybe you get to go up against Lucic and Co. for the Flames. But that's an extremely deep flyer. That's something like you're playing Colorado power play or, I don't even know who else is really expensive. I don't even think it's that necessary tonight. But if you are playing a bunch of expensive lines, you're playing Yossi, maybe you mix them in a share or two.
Yeah.
That's it, man. 11 games.
All right. This is going to be a fun slate. And, of course, NHL in typical NHL fashion dropped the ball and didn't have a good slate for the first non-NBA
so there's a two-game NBA slate today.
I mean tomorrow.
What, the contests are out?
Yeah, no, it's just there are only 4 games. I mean the NHL itself should have a bigger slate, but that'll give you and Emac some time to delve into this, and then I guess you and me maybe we'll do a special show on Friday. We haven't really talked about it, but if these contests are big, maybe on Saturday. Sorry, we'll hop on and. But again, it's another 6-game Saturday night slate. I don't know what the NHL does here, but that's
maybe we'll get some nice early contests too. It looks like there's going to be a pretty good early slate on Saturday, so
that's true.
Might have that working for us. All right, I dropped projections for NHL in chat. Those are going to be free for today only, so take advantage if you're not a premium member. I dropped in the link for the $15 all access break promo code. If you want to take advantage of that, I would suggest you do. You get it for. You got a week left, of NBA All-Star Break. You get 5 different sports, and you get the all access for that. So you get access to projections, ownership projections, anything we have on the site that's not XFL. You're going to get access with the promo code BREAK. Just $15. NBA projections, your last day of NBA until next Thursday, I want to say. So take advantage of those. Number 1 player in DFS giving out his projections for free today. Do we have anything else we need to talk about, Nolan?
I think that's it. Yeah, you mentioned the deal off the top. If you want to get in on an NBA All-Star package, feel free to check out some of our NBA content today, and you'll find a link to some deals. $15 all access All-Star break, $8 or $15 for 8 days. Can't beat it.
All right, guys. Good luck, and we will catch you back tomorrow at 5:30 Eastern. EMAC and I. See you then.